digital agenda is all about data, analytics, cloud, AI, ML, and emerging technologies that are transforming not only companies but also entire industries and even our lives. Hi, my name is Piyush Malik, a curious mind who wears and juggles multiple hats as an engineer, a management consultant, practitioner, a builder, a thought leader, entrepreneur, and a C suite executive. I have been in the industry helping organizations realize and navigate the value of data, analytics, applied AI ML, and emerging technologies. I have created strategies and transformation programs that helps them compete with the digital natives. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Digital Agenda. This today we are going to be meeting with Stuart Appley. Stuart is a good friend. We worked together in the past, and he's the managing director in CBRE's Global Workplace Solutions Group. He currently leads the global tech, data, and innovation portfolio dedicated to leading technology firm in Silicon Valley, where he leads and promotes digital initiatives across CBRE's business services. He was previously a CTO at Shorenstein Realty Services, a leading commercial real estate owner and operator. And before that, he was the CIO at a global investment firm that focused on early stage investments across the APAC region. He is a Constellation Business Transformation 150 awardee and a past winner of Realcomm's Digie Award for Innovation. So here we are. Welcome, Stuart. Welcome to the Digital Agenda.
Great. Thank you, Piyush, and thank you for having me on. Looking forward to it.
Now, I gave the audience a little bit about you, but I really want to know in 120 seconds or less, who's the real Stuart Appley?
Stuart Appley is someone who always has a thirst for knowledge, right? Always looking ahead to try to see how we can transform and leverage technology for business value. Love working with entrepreneurs, love working with new technologies, but always thinking 3 steps ahead to think, hey, not really what we do today, but really where do we improve things, where do we transform, and how do we leverage some of the new technologies which are just flying at us day by day to really transform and add business value for any enterprise.
Awesome. And I remember the very first time that I met you, that was on a similar Zoom call back in my I was early in my Google Cloud and AIML journey. And you guys had already started doing some innovation projects, and that's where we came in to help you out and explore together the realm of the Google Cloud. How would you say things have evolved in the 5 to 6 years since we started working with you? And what has your experience been with cloud, AI/ML, and specifically in the CRE space?
It's been amazing. I mean, I think you could even say the acceleration of innovation in the industry almost doubles every 6 months. Is what it feels like. So when we started our journey with you, say 5, 6 years ago, we had done some great things around doc AI, lease abstractions, things like that, which were pretty new in the industry. Commercial real estate has always been a slower adopter because it's such a fragmented industry, right? You have so many vendors, you have so many companies. There's not one company that owns it all. There's so many types of real estate. It is very fragmented, very complicated. So it's been an industry that's been slow to adopt. But there have been key areas, and we've worked together on that, how we can leverage cloud, AI, ML for some of that benefit. So when we did our journey, say 5, 6 years ago, that was really innovative. Did some great work. And what was interesting about it is we implement it, we have a pilot, and then it got going. And we did a couple innovations at that time too. There was one that we even kind of put on hold around, the first one was customer service, right? And then the other one was document AI that I just kind of mentioned. But on the customer service one, we put that on hold, came back to it about 2 years later, and the whole architecture had changed significantly, right? And that was maybe over a 2-year period, and that was on the Google space. you look forward now, and again, everything that's been done, the architecture, the democratization of AI, the ability to leverage, I mean, generative AI, obviously we could talk about that, but it's just, the acceleration is amazing. And so the values has always been there. It's how do people understand it? And, I think the good thing about what's happening today is that people are getting it all of a sudden, right? Even with commercial real estate. I mean, there are now many, it's the thing. I did some advising work for a startup in AI in commercial real estate. And, that was 2 years ago. And that company had really trouble getting CIOs and others within commercial real estate to understand some of the value. You look for it today now, and it's just like 180 difference, 180 degrees difference. Sorry.
Interesting. And I recall the smart ticket stuff that we were doing, and then you championed so many innovations. The NLP based system and the augmented reality driven conversation that we were having, how we will incorporate AR, VR into the AI ML system and the cloud system, and then you obviously the doc AI based solution was good. Now, there was a time that you were also working or maybe exploring a little bit on blockchain. Tell me a little bit more on that.
Yeah, so that's another great example. So that was probably 6 years ago, right? Very early in the blockchain days. And I got to participate in, one of CBRE's first pilot in the space. And we were doing it around lease documents and, leveraging blockchain. And it was interesting that we were able to say, yeah, we were able to prove out that using distributed ledger actually can work. But then that was it. It was put on a shelf. And again, that was 5 or 6 years ago. I think it's still, those type of applications are still being looked at. And I think that's something that still has a ways to go to truly see business value. It's one of those things where it's a chicken and egg, right? You need an ecosystem to really get blockchain to be able to be, truly accelerate the business. And I don't think the industry's there yet on blockchain, but that is another perfect example. It seems like everything that you and I have touched and others has always been like 3, 4, 5 years ahead of mainstream, which is great, right? And it's fun to try these things. It's fun to try and fail. It's fun to try and hit walls. And it's actually really exciting now to see some of these things become a little bit more mainstream. I mean, the AR, VR. Look at now with Apple's new glass, their Vision Pro. It's again, it is totally now. There's a whole new interest in this domain, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Vision OS is something which is attracting a lot of entrepreneurs into it. And while I myself haven't looked into it as much as I would like to, the whole metaverse thing, the NFTs that we used to talk about 2, 3 years back, they're kind of dying down. And now with Apple jumping in, and of course, NVIDIA also being very much into their space, I am very excited about the future, actually. As much as, time passes by, these innovations and how the inventions are converted into practical applications, that's amazing. And it's the creativity of the humankind. And that's something which, gives the a ray of hope that yes, machines may be rising, AI may be rising, but the role of humans will still be there. It's the creativity and it's the innovation that we bring.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think it's space. The augmented reality is ripe for leveraging across business. I mean, CBRE has a good practice in it now using HoloLens, where we can go in and do triage and remote triage, and bring in data in addition to what people are seeing in machinery. And that's going to be just more. I think that's going to be mainstream very soon. And I do agree. The whole metaverse thing was really kind of it distracted the whole space. It really did. But now I do see a path forward that's really true business value.
Yeah, let's shift a gear a little bit deeper into the CRE. And again, commercial real estate is something that you worked a number of firms with. And um, do you at all, as a person dedicated towards innovation and emerging technologies, do you ever feel stifled in an environment where the industry is not the CRE industry is not moving as fast in terms of adopting technology? Have you had any of those instances and how you have overcome?
Yeah, yes, CRE has been an industry, as I mentioned earlier, that really has been slow to adopt technology. I mean, you hear about prop tech and other things around startups and the whole property technology space. It's ripe for disruption. Um, Commercial real estate has historically been an industry where you're not only fragmented, as I mentioned earlier, but very relationship based, right? And so I remember a CEO telling me once, we're skeptical because we've always been successful. Like, why change things? And so there hasn't always been a feel for the need to change. Well, the last couple of years, and with everything, I think that has changed a lot. And I do see commercial real estate trying to catch up. It's still, because it is so big, because it is so fragmented, it's always going to be a little bit behind, but these things are really coming into it now. And but it is a slower adoption rate within the industry than others. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you go to any of these conferences, there's shining things on display, but it takes a long time to actually integrate them into the environment, into the company itself. So, for the folks that who are not as much into CRE, do you mind spelling out what are the trends that you are seeing and the role of innovation ecosystems for commercial real estate?
Well, today the big issue on commercial real estate is return to office, right? Let's be real there. The whole the pandemic threw the industry for a loop. Right? People weren't coming into an office, and we're talking about office commercial real estate. That's key. Now there are other aspects of commercial real estate. There's industrial logistics, which has exploded because of the pandemic and continues to be very real. There are other offshoots around data center. Those are transformative. But so in the office sector, it really is how's the hybrid notion, which is really, I think we all agree, it's not going to be, people aren't going to come back 5 days a week, nor should they, right? Commute, especially in the Bay Area where we are and other areas, are prohibitive. And your productivity does go down. But there is value in being in an office at times and being very purposeful of when that happens. And so how do you blend those to make it very efficient, collaborative? How do you get productivity? How do you continue to raise those? And so that alone is a thing. And so how do you improve collaboration? How do you make both virtual and in office, and make that hybrid experience truly transformative? So that alone is a big topic. And then because data is very central to real estate, whether commercial or multifamily or residential, real estate is a very broad data centric industry, not as deep in the number of records that you hit, but very broad. And so, but it is very critical. And so being able to leverage that data, being able to access it, and then now, with AI ML, being able to do things automatically and to automate with data is really the key innovation trend that I think that is, the next step in taking this industry forward.
Great, great. And what would be the top few pieces of advice for anyone who's getting started in this journey? What would you advise them to do?
Regarding commercial real estate or just broadly?
Commercial real estate,
Yeah.
and innovation and technology.
With innovation technology, and to your question earlier about, did I ever get frustrated? Yeah, you get frustrated, but you need to be persistent. You need to keep trying. You need to keep doing it. And so that is, don't give up, right? You fail once, or you hit the wall and you don't succeed. You keep trying, you figure out a way of doing it. There is, especially when you believe that there is value there. I do, again, believe the commercial real estate industry is changing. There's a younger generation coming in that is more acceptive of that. So within commercial real estate, it again is coming up with those ideas that, where does it truly create, where are you removing keystrokes? Where are you changing the process. So instead of 3 steps, it's 1 step. Where are you taking actions from data that you can make, you don't have to necessarily replace jobs. We're not talking about that. We're talking about augmenting the way you work and helping you the way you work. Think about things you do on a day-to-day basis that really are redundant, or, hey, if I had something, that data piece information, like an example, if there's a work order that came in, and right now the process might be, oh, you got to figure out who the planner, who's on the road and who you might assign this to. Well, you use NLP and the actual words that they're asking in that request. Why can't you just automate some of those things? So, and then even with generative AI around the marketing, the documents, see, commercial real estate is a very document intensive industry. How do you bring all that and make quick decisions or quick insights into your data domain? There's a lot of opportunity for doing innovation within this industry at the moment, because again, there's a lot of potential to disrupt.
Right, right. So disruptive technologies, being persistent and never give up, and continue with the trend, keep up with the trends, and enable yourself, keep learning. And I would say it's the persistence, because it's never easy to change status quo, and digital transformation requires a lot of fortitude, a lot of hard work, and you've got to take your team along with you. And sometimes you've got to manage up. Sometimes you've got to take everybody in consensus mode. But sometimes you've got to, put your foot down as well. And as we have seen in some of our digital transformation projects, it becomes sometimes a game of chess when there are different stakeholders involved. So more importantly, it's not only technology that we deal with. We deal with processes, we deal with people, and dealing with people is the biggest skill, and I would say the soft skill that can't be undermined. Technology is developing at a fast pace, but people are not developing their EQ and the soft skills at that fast pace. So that's my personal observation in the world.
Spot on, 100% spot on. There's of course, it's the people, process, technology adage, and the hardest part is the people. Absolutely. And you made a point that I think is really important, that you said about learning. The other advice, and you were spot on there, is have that thirst for knowledge. Always be looking at what is happening, industry trends, what are the new things going on. Dive into it and try it. Just because people are saying no right now doesn't mean that you can't give it a try and try to show value. Don't take no for an answer.
Yeah. And one of the things that I like about you is that you are always out there expressing your thought leadership in one way, shape, or form, and that's why you've been recognized by these various groups. So, of course, congratulations on that. But I really learned back when we went to that CRE conference in Boston a few years back, and we were together doing that session. It was interesting to see so many people out there from different companies, and yet, the examples of innovation in the industry were not that very prominent. And I hope things change for the future, and we are able to attract talent which is innovation focused, and they are focused on making rapid progress. So I would say, there are other things that I forgot to mention, and perhaps you also didn't bring it up, was your involvement with nonprofits and serving on boards. So talk a little bit about your experience doing that, and then we can close it out.
Yeah, just real quickly. Yeah, you were talking about the Coronet conference that you and I did in Boston, probably 2018, 2019. And if you remember, there was interest, but it wasn't like, if you did that today, the room would be overbooked, right? And so you and I are kind of always a little couple steps ahead, is what it seems like. Now, the nonprofits, I appreciate that. So we have a great partnership with Genesis Works, just as one example. It's a nonprofit national that works with underserved high school students to be able to get them prepared for college. CBRE working with interns that come in on their senior year, and then get them, they actually have a job 20 hours a week, afternoons. It's done in conjunction with the school, and we're in our fourth year of that that I've been working with, and it's been fantastic. These kids, they're usually the first in their family to go to college or be ready to go for college. They're so enthused. They're so just excited, and I love it. I love working with them. And just really second, also acknowledge some people on my team who are working with the historically Black colleges in Atlanta, doing some innovation and emerging technology with that. And so, I'm honored to be able to partner with them and learn from them on some of the innovation in the diversity and nonprofit that they're doing. And so, passionate about the space, and I love, there's a huge opportunity for a lot of these young people to bring into the industry.
That's awesome. Awesome to know that you've been involved with nonprofits as well. As you know, give back has been in my DNA as well, and you've seen me in the industry doing a lot of these kind of things. So, and there's so much more that we could talk about, Stuart. But in the spirit of keeping it crisp and small, what is the one closing thought that you have before we close today?
Keep that thirst for knowledge. Keep that, be out there, be inquisitive. Try to understand some of the new things coming in. Give them a try, and don't ever stop, trying to learn. That's the number one thing I can say.
Awesome, awesome. And with that, thank you so much, Stuart. From my soul to yours, it's a namaste, a way of expressing gratitude for the time you've spent with me here, and also the amazing opportunities we've had to work in the past. Looking forward to reconnecting again soon. And with that, goodbye for now.